Welcome to my early days. As a 7-year-old, I suffered from dysphonia, commonly known as stammering. It was during this time that I realized that I could not be like normal children, and I could not be one among them. It was the time of my life when everything came crashing down. I started my life in confinement, absolute solitude. Little did I know, little did I understand what my journey was. As a 7-year-old, while everybody else played normal and they were outside, my life was a pause. I started on the journey in complete solitude, where I understood the power of solitude and what and how to use the solitude in my favor. I was 7 and I didn't know how to express myself. At 14, in 8th grade, I suffered from jaundice. I had extreme weakness. Confinement was my life for nearly 2 years. Once again, I didn't know what to do. That was a time I homeschooled due to my multiple relapses from my illness. Sitting on the bed, looking outside the window, I hoped, I prayed that life would bounce back for me one fine day. Looking outside the window, I always thought that life was passing by and I wanted to be that little bird in the sky, flying and acquiring the world. But then life had different plans while I had my different. As time went by, I decided that I would not be a failure. In my little journey, I decided at that little age, without learning how to express my pain, I was there, hoping to fly one fine day. As time went by, I left home and I reached my college. This was my moment of absolute catharsis. I was 19 when I went to college. It was in college that I was given the stage to speak for the first time. I was like, no, I can't speak. I had no option. I went up on the stage, I rehearsed, I forgot everything. What do I do? I took a moment, I was enjoying my solitude on the stage. I extempored, I made the mark, and I decided to go on with the flow. Yes, I did it. I have the voice in me. I can talk. This is where I decided that yes, there is no stopping. And since then and now, I have discovered my voice. Stepping outside the 4 walls of my room, that was all that I had when I was growing up. No school, no friends. Life was fading away for me. I was 15 when I started realizing I'm not like other children. But my college groomed me to who I am today. My college gave me the voice and believed in me when I didn't. When I reached college, I used to hide behind the books, shying away to feel or to meet anybody because I could speak. My friends proxied for me. They said when the roll calls would happen, they would raise their hands, they would raise my hand and they would say, oh, she's around. I couldn't speak my name. And I was doing a hotel management course. I didn't know how I would finish it. But there I was. On the stage, I acquired it. Little did I expect, after 15 years of passing out, my college calling me back to acknowledge my journey. It was again a moment on the stage. I froze. With 3,500 students and still pouring in the room where there was almost a stampede situation, to hear an ex-student who couldn't speak. They were there in the room to see me being facilitated. Since then, the journey of being facilitated to ex-students started on with the college. And I was proud to be one of the pioneer members or the pioneer students there, encouraging them year after year. This was a beautiful moment. This was a beautiful moment in life. When after passing out my college, I was placed by one of the premier groups, almost myself a scholarship MBA, and that was a time I realized I had something in me. With the MBA, I went back to college. 2 years, time flew by. I came out, and at that moment, I was placed by one of the group of hotels, and it was during their tenure with them, I got this opportunity to meet and greet with our iconic late APJ Abdul Kalam in person. I was representing the brand for the hotel, and I was asked to be with him at the ISRO Bangalore. My joys knew no end. It was a moment wherein I felt I have actually achieved something. To be standing next to somebody who's so iconic. And it was not just once. I met him 6 times at various events. And each time I met him, there was a little comeback that I came with it. And each time I met him, and I was surrounded with the officials, I felt I was one among them. I forgot I couldn't speak. I forgot what I had. I didn't know what it was. But I was with him, and he made each member feel so comfortable. It's a moment, it's a memory on my mind, soul, for a life. As time went by, I worked with some of the best brands of the country, galloping through all the lost times, catching up with success, getting featured in magazines, getting all the successes that I was missing out all these years. Something happened. I met with a very serious accident. I was 23. I felt life came crashing down for me once again. When I was 20, I had jaundice, and that kept me moving around, keeping away from my normal life. 23, I was back again on the bed. Tears of desperation rolled my eyes, and I was like, oh no. Life was again in confinement, and I was like, everything's over. Life's over for me. In that ICU room, when life was slipping out of my hand and I would see people go away in seconds, I took my downtime as my superpower, and I made a promise to myself that if I survive out of the ICU, I will do everything to make my life count, to make it worthwhile. And guess what? I did it. I kept the promise to myself. Every single second, I made it worthwhile. From being into hotels, I moved out. I worked at the corporates for 12 years, and then I decided to be an entrepreneur. I decided to be a motivational speaker and move into healing and heal lives because I felt I had the vision, I had the enlightenment. I was out, and I was there. Life transitioned for me then. From school to +2 to college, the college itself, and now. Life was a one big transformation for me. I ensured I kept the promise with myself every day, day after day. There was no competition with anybody, but I was competing with myself. With every single passing day, I was there competing, trying to set new targets and go ahead and achieve it. So what is happiness? Happiness is a choice, not a result. Nothing will make you happy until you choose to be happy. No person will make you happy unless you decide to be happy. Your happiness will not come to you. It can only come from you, in the words of Ralph Marston. The quote inspires me. There is no downtime for me. I use my downtime as my superpower. At every downtime, I design my own happiness. I see how can I use this time to make it worthwhile. Little did I know, I became an inspiration for many. During the journey, I started acquiring skills. Writing was one such skill, wherein I decided whatever I have learned, I wanted to impart. Along with it came my motivational speaking. I decided during my many experiences, I have many sads, highs, lows to pass on to those who are very weak at heart. So what is happiness? Happiness is in the mind. Designing your own happiness and realizing solitude is one such act. Solitude is happiness. In the Western world, solitude is taken as a moment to recharge. Solitude and mental health is equal to happiness. At this time, I realized how mental health, being there with yourself at all time, acknowledging the solitude, you can design your happiness. Solitude and personal growth. This is the time where one decides that being in the moment of solitude, you can actually design a life and use the solitude to your superpower. I designed my happiness mantra along my journey. My happiness mantra is stay in gratitude, bring inner happiness, celebrate small wins, accept yourself the way you are, practice mindfulness, live in the present moment, continue to learn, add value to others, and make others happy. It's important to make yourself a priority in the hustle and bustle of life. The solitude gave me an opportunity to meet with myself. It's you alone who can design your own happiness. Food for thought in the words of His Highness Dalai Lama. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. If I can, you can. Thank you.